Welcome to The Amy Gregory Show, the show where real estate gets a reality check and success doesn't require burnout. I'm Amy, your straight shooting, pep talk in your pocket host who took the real estate world by storm with zero cold calls, no door knocking, and a firm no thanks to working 50-hour weeks. 8 years ago, I jumped into real estate with both feet, 3 kids, and a baby on the way. In my rookie year, I broke every rule in the book, earning 6 figures working just 10 hours a week. The industry was shocked. I wasn't. Now, I lead a powerhouse team of over 500 female solo agents nationwide, host retreats, create online courses, and sit proudly in the top 10 of my brokerage with over 85,000 agents. My mission? To help women like you scale your business, trust your intuition, and redefine what success looks like on your terms. So if you're ready to play big, ditch the hustle culture, and build a business that fits your life, not the other way around, you're in the right place. Let's get into it. Welcome back to the Amy Gregory Show. I'm so glad you're here. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about how do you actually scale a business without hating your life? How do you build something that gives you residual income while still driving carpool? I want to get into the nuts and bolts of it. But first, we're going to start with a story that my oldest son taught my daughter, and really, it taught me a really good lesson. It was late at night when he said, you know, girls always start at the top of the mountain, right? Us boys, we start at the bottom, and it's by climbing that we become who you need us to be. So just stay at the top of the mountain. You're already there. It was late on a Sunday night and she had come home frustrated about something, and this was the advice he gave her. I was half asleep, still up like I usually am when they get home. I snuggled in my sweats and smudged eyeliner. He said it to his sister so casually, like it was obvious. And it landed on me. One of those lines that stops you mid-scroll and actually makes you think. Yes, the bottom of the mountain is loud. It's where the hustle lives. But the top, that's where peace and perspective are. That's where becoming happens. It made me think about business. How often we believe the business itself is the end goal, but it's not. The real win is who you become in the process and what you refuse to sacrifice along the way. So if you're already doing pickups at 3 p.m. and making dinner between deals, stay there. If your kids know you're the one who shows up and tucks them in, stay there. Don't trade the reason you started for the thing you're building. Find ways to build around what matters, not over it. Motherhood is not a barrier to success. It's a blueprint for innovation. I know it feels like a constraint, but constraints will lead to better problem solving if you allow it. Some of the most brilliant businesswomen I know, they're growing empires between school drop-off and bedtime stories. They're proof that you don't need more hours, you need better strategy and some confidence that it can be done. So let's jump into it. How do you actually do that? Early on in real estate, I started going to some real estate conferences because, let's be honest, I had no clue what I was doing. So clearly, I'm looking for mentors. I'm going to go put myself in rooms where people are doing more than me so I can learn from them. And I noticed a common theme that was a little bit disturbing. You would get a speaker up on stage and they would talk to you about how their volume count is this and their transaction count is this and their agent count is this. And it all sounds like insanely awesome, right? And then they would share kind of the ugly truth. They were actually almost bankrupt, or their family life was a nightmare, and their health was miserable. And it became a theme: selling tons, almost bankrupt, empire built, family lost in the process. And we have to remember that volume doesn't equal wealth and hustle does not equal freedom. You cannot outwork a broken system. So today I want to talk a little bit about pruning what's no longer serving you, grafting into a strategy and systems and community that actually support your growth, and getting rooted in a business that's actually built to last. And there's a reason that this is really, really important inside your business. and your personal life actually, because your nervous system is likely a wreck. Most real estate agents have insane nervous systems because of the cortisol spikes that we deal with on a regular basis. You often face abrupt and unexpected challenges like deals falling through via a simple text message. True story. I was sitting at like an after school little play date with some of my friends and their kids, and I had a deal that was set to close in 2 days. It was all set to close in 2 days. And they needed to extend the close a day or two, and we were kind of working through some of the logistics of that. And suddenly I'm sitting there, it's 4:00 in the afternoon on a Wednesday, and I get a text message that the buyers are bailing on the deal and they're walking away from the deal. Like, you're just, look, still, I can't find the words because you're like, wait, what? And this is a regular occurrence. And so when you get a text message from a client that's like, hey, call me when you have a minute, your cortisol levels just skyrocket, and you're mentally going through like the Rolodex of like, oh my gosh, did I dot every T? Did I dot every I and cross every T? You're mentally going through the file to make sure like everything's good. And they might actually be texting you with good news, but you don't know. And so it creates these, if you're in the business, okay? These sudden shifts, they require immediate attention, forcing you to transition rapidly between emotional highs and lows without adequate time to process. And long-term, this actually is a problem. This leads to the release of cortisol and adrenaline, hormones that prepare the body for fight or flight. It's beneficial in short bursts, but chronic activation can be detrimental over time. Impaired cognitive functions affecting decision-making and memory, emotional exhaustion and burnout, increased risk of anxiety and depression. These are the results of agents that have been that are in the business without creating an exit strategy or a safety net. Well, one of the things that's really tricky about real estate is you have you have some months really high, some months really low, and you're constantly like on this roller coaster, and it creates problems for your nervous system. And so the question then becomes is like, how do you build a business that insulates you against those hard shifts? We're going to use another analogy. I love parables. I love analogies. I think they are the best teachers. And something we can look to in nature is like when a tree stops growing, a wise gardener doesn't panic, she prunes. And when a branch isn't thriving, she grafts it into stronger, deeper roots. And we need to start looking inside our business of what do we need to prune and what branches do we need to graft into stronger branches. Your website, I would say, is your root system. It works while you sleep. It connects all of your funnels, holds your brand, your offers, your value. Strong roots, they don't shout, they support. And what's interesting about the roots is literally no one sees this. It's not something anyone sees. It's not like I can visually like show you my back end funnels. I mean, I guess I could like on a computer, I could be like, oh, this is how this all connects. But that is the root system of your business. And so if you're over here and you're just like door knocking and cold calling and you're posting to Instagram and you're holding open houses, but you don't have a way to like capture that prospect's email address, you don't really have a business. Like you have a job, right? And we want to be building businesses. You cannot grow strong branches with weak roots. So if your roots are your back-end systems, your websites, your automations, your branches are your different platforms, Instagram, YouTube, postcards, open houses. Those are like your lead generation systems. The leaves are the results, your leads, your sales, your freedom. So first up, we need to prune what's not working for you. I think real estate agents have got to be the guiltiest of any industry of being busy but not productive. And so we have to start auditing our time and saying, am I being busy or am I being productive? And if it's not productive, then you're just being busy and it's probably something that you can outsource to someone else or just not do. Like if it's not yielding you the results that you want, stop doing it. So some things that might not be serving you anymore is bad tech, busy work without results, leads that ghost, random posting with no funnel, no clear plan, trying to be everywhere and everything to everyone. If you want to grow, you must be willing to subtract. You must be willing to get rid of the things that are weighing you down. So an analogy I use is, and I want you to do this with me, is a lot of times we see this with real estate agents, and I want you to like grab like a handful of pens, get like 3 or 4 pens in your hands. And I want you to hold them as tight as you can. And you're like, oh my gosh, these are my deals. And I'm going to hang on so tight to these deals. I cannot afford to lose these deals. I am going to grip so hard. And as you do it, like your fingernails start digging into your hand, your forearms start to kind of hurt because you're just hanging on so tight to these 4 or 5 deals that you have to close, or I don't know, the sky's going to fall, right? What's interesting is if you actually just open up your hands like this, you can actually stack way more and hold way more in your hand when you're not hanging on so tight to something that you may or may not need, right? So if you just open up your hand and let it be easy, you can actually hold so much more with your hand just like this, and it's way more comfortable, right? And if something falls off, it's fine because you're actually holding more than when you were like clenching tight like this, okay? So what lead sources do you need to prune? Which ones are not working for you? If they're not working, stop doing them. And I always tell first-time agents, you know, you want to really niche down and build one lead source and then add another and then another, right? So if it's going to be an open house strategy, go all in on an open house strategy. If it's going to be Instagram, go all in on Instagram. Build the whole back end system of that, right? I would tell you that your website, though, is the back end of all of this because you need to constantly be building your database. You have to have a place where people are giving you their email address and you are helping serve them. So you want to graft into better systems, automations that qualify leads for you, websites that convert traffic into clients, lead magnets that attract the right buyers and the right sellers, okay? We don't just want any deal. We want the best deals, right? And the best deals are with the best clients, the clients that are pre-qualified and they can afford the home that they're looking at, sellers that value what it is you are doing for them. They are not trying to nickel and dime you. They are trying to say, thank you so much for guiding us through this process. Those are 2 different types of people. And we want the people that appreciate you, not criticize you, okay? So we want to make sure we are working with great clients. So what system does your business need? What platforms would better support you? So we want to follow the 80-20 rule, right? I'm talking a lot about building transactions because we need to streamline transactions so that we have space to build the legacy arm of our business. I think a lot of agents kind of get into real estate thinking, okay, I'm going to go sell a couple houses and then I'm going to buy investment properties. And the issue is they get so busy selling houses, they never buy the investment properties or they never build out the legacy arm of their business. So you actually have to be building 2 businesses concurrently. One is what I call your day-to-day business, and that's transactions. It's the bread and butter of your business. It's the foundation. It's the backbone of a lot of things, and it will inform your legacy business. Your legacy business is the one that builds wealth and it works without you. So day to day pays the bills, it requires manual effort, and it's like one-to-one effort, right? So when I'm buying and selling, it's me with a seller, it's me with a buyer, it's one-to-one, like hand-to-hand combat is what I like to say. Now, inside a legacy business, the goal inside your legacy business is that it works with or without you, right? So if you're buying investment properties and people are paying you rent, this one is running without you. So we want to follow the 80-20 rule, where 80% of your time is spent on your day-to-day business, okay? Which is why we build systems to buy you back some time so that then you have 20% time to work on your legacy business, okay? The day-to-day is sell houses. 80% of your focus should go here. The other 20% of your time should be spent on the legacy business. The problem that you're facing is that you're already working too much, right? I get it. Your phone is ringing and dinging. Deals are blowing up on vacation, and you can't remember the last time you made it home for dinner. And then there is the mental load of real estate. So we need to understand that the gap between an average agent and an extraordinary agent, it's not talent, it's alignment and consistency. You cannot scale chaos. And so if your business is chaotic, it will not scale. You can only scale systems, okay? So since 2020, my business has had 52% average annual revenue growth. 52%. That statistic is crazy. By comparison, outperforming the average US small business owner over 5x, outperformed the average US woman-owned small business by almost 10x. And I'm doing it in only 20 to 25 hours a week. So trust me when I tell you, you can scale systems. You cannot scale chaos. Okay. Some fun facts about a women-owned businesses and the 1 million revenue mark. Only 1.7% ever hit 1 million in annual revenue. Compare that to male-owned businesses where about 12% cross the $1 million threshold. Breaking into the seven-figure club as a woman isn't just rare, it's borderline revolutionary. So day-to-day, buyer seller showings transactions, but make it efficient with leverage, lead flow, and automation. This is how you buy back your time so you can build your legacy business. Okay? So we're going to start with your social media needs to be your top of funnel. You post the right content. You let the algorithm find your perfect clients. Automated responses and nurture sequences. Okay, so you're posting on social media and then you need to be having chat bots. And I know that sounds so overwhelming. You can Google it. You can use ChatGPT to help you figure this out. Or you can click the links below and I can help you figure it out. But you start building chat bots to communicate with your audience on Instagram so that you're not manually replying to everyone's DMs, right? There's no way I can manually reply to the amount of DMs I get, right? So you have to build a system. The website is the backbone. It's the lead capture. It's the lead magnet. It's the lead follow-up. So you have to say, what do you want your buyers and sellers to be able to access from you on a regular basis? So my favorite lead magnets is what's your home worth? Start your home search, and I'm going to connect them to my IDX feed. And then how to hire a realtor is another phenomenal lead magnet. And you post content about like, well, this is how you hire a realtor. These are the questions you should be asking your real estate agent. This is why it's important. And then you give them a keyword to comment and they say, oh, I want that. And you have a chat bot that delivers that lead magnet. They give you their email address. You give them the resources to hire a good agent. And then you have a whole email series follow-up where it's like, well, I also can connect you with agents all over the country. So not only am I prospecting deals inside my local market, I'm also prospecting deals all over the country because there's nothing stopping me from, I'm in Arizona, but let's say someone is in Orlando and they need to move to Dallas. Well, I can help them find a listing agent in Orlando and a buying agent in Dallas, and I can pull a referral fee on both of those deals. Do you see how the math on this starts to compound, right? When we start looking at the numbers on it, it gets really, really interesting, right? So this is how you do it all. And I'll tell you that I tested this on my Instagram stories. And let's say there's like 1,500 people watching my Instagram stories and 27 people opted in to one of my posts about like, hey, this is, find out how much your home is worth. 27 people opt into it. If you do that every single day, think about the numbers on that. In fact, I'm going to pull out my phone and I'm going to do it for you right now because the math on it will blow your mind away. Let's say you post, there's 30 days in a month on average. Let's say you post 20 of those days. And let's say on average, 15 people, okay, I'm taking it down from my 27 to 15 people opt into your lead magnets. That means you're putting 300 people a month on your email database times 12. That's 3,600 people have opted in. Let's say you convert that at 3%. That means 108 deals. 108 deals, whether they're referrals or transactions, could convert. If you want to make the numbers more manageable, let's say you only convert that 3,600 at 1%. That's 36 transactions. Now, let's say those 36 transactions are at an average price point of, 36 times 400,000. That means you're doing $14.5 million in volume. And let's say you pull a 3% commission. I'm not telling you to pull 3%. NAR will tell you can set your commission rate at whatever you want. But let's just use 3% for the math. That means you're making $432,000 because you've built a system that allows leads to come in and get nurtured on autopilot. It's crazy. And this is how I've done it with 4 kids from my kitchen table. It's not luck. It's not being cute. It's not dancing. It's not any of that. It is having a system behind my social media, and it's being willing to stay at the top of the mountain and not give up the thing that I am building the business for, right? My social media is talking to people all day, every day, whether I'm on it or not. It is a portfolio of my work, which is why social media is so important. And I remember being a brand new little baby agent listening to podcasts at the gym at 5 a.m. in the morning, thinking like, oh my gosh, how am I going to do all of this? How does this even work? And every single person would say like, oh, social media is such a waste of time. You just need to look the part. And yet I have met and found my best, most dreamy clients on social media. The issue is that so many agents want to post one time and have it go viral and have it change your life. And that's not a reasonable expectation. It's not a reasonable expectation. What the shortcut is doing the work. The shortcut to all of it is doing the work. The work actually works. And so if you're in this and you're wondering like, okay, is this really the thing? Is this social media really the thing? And will it really bring in buyers and sellers? The answer is yes. The answer is 1000% yes. And more, you're not going to be able to survive without social media. So let me tell you, no matter what your business model is, social media should be included in your business model. Let's say you're awesome at calling expireds and converting expireds. That's phenomenal. Take that same script that you're using with expireds, turn your phone like out from you, record yourself talking, post it to social media, post on your social media, sign after sign after sign, going up in front of listing after listing or buyer after buyer, and get that social proof, because I can guarantee you consumers, 87% of consumers are consulting social media before making a purchasing decision. 87%. That's crazy. And it's going to continue to rise. And so the longer you wait, the harder it becomes in some ways, right? Because you haven't developed the muscle. It's a mental muscle. Your brain, I don't know if anyone knows this, but your brain is actually your body's biggest muscle. And so just like you can train your biceps and your quads, you can also train your brain. And when you train your brain to think better thoughts, you end up getting better results. But it requires like taking your brain to the gym. It requires reading better books, listening to better podcasts, sitting in better rooms where the thoughts are bigger and better than what you were thinking, right? And so a lot of times when we say you're already at the top of the mountain, now just build your business, like keeping what you already have, is one thing that I've noticed with agents is they don't even know what they want. They lack clarity in what they're trying to build. They're just like, well, I just want more money, and they're willing to give up anything to get more money. And that is a fatal flaw, because you actually are not willing to give up anything for more money. I'm not willing to give up my marriage. I'm not willing to give up my kids. I'm not willing to give up some things in my lifestyle just for more money. I'm not willing to do that in all actuality. And so agents have to get really, really clear on what it is that they want to build. I was telling this to my daughter the other day. I said, the best way to predict your future, I was telling this to my daughter the other day, the best way to predict your future is to create it. And that is what your brain is capable of. Your brain is capable of creating whatever results you want. But it starts with knowing what you want, thinking about that, and figuring out how to get that. So one of the exercises that we do at our house, I call it the what do you want exercise. And it's a way to psychologically get your brain to start thinking bigger than it's already thinking. So I want you to think about, like, when you go to the gym, you might start with 5-pound weights and then you lift 10, 15, and 20, right? You increase your capacity. The same is true for your brain. You have to increase its capacity. And so this is a great exercise. Is first you write down at the top, what do I want? And the first line, you write down something that you already have. So I might write down, I live a poolside lifestyle. 25-year-old version of Amy would be so delighted with my backyard living situation. It's a total dream. There's a pool, it's big, kids are in and out of it. It's awesome. It's like a revolving door in the summertime, and it's so peaceful to like wake up, put a bathing suit on, go lay out by the pool, right? Eat chips and salsa. It's a dream. Can you tell how clear my vision was on like how I wanted it to operate? The next thing you write is something you don't have yet, but you want, and you write it as if you already have it. So I might write down, I own a vacation property in X, Y, or Z. I don't own a vacation property yet, but I would love to, right? And so I'm going to pick the location and I'm going to write that down. I own a vacation property in X. I think that'd be awesome. Okay. And then the next thing I would write is something, again, that I already have. So I would say something like, oh, we enjoy lake days as a family on the boat. That is something we already have. We have a boat and we enjoy going out to the lake as a family. And you see how it's something you already have, something you want, something you already have, something that you want. And what happens is, because you've sandwiched the thing that you want in between two things you already have, your brain, it like gives your brain proof that it's possible, because it's like, well, we have all these other things, so surely we can figure out how to do this. And subconsciously, your brain will figure out how to get you there. The other thing that it does is it gives you clarity in what you are building. So one of the things early on inside my real estate business is I knew I wanted time freedom and location freedom. I wanted to be able to work when it worked for me, and I wanted to be able to work from anywhere. Do not confuse this with working all the time from everywhere. I did not want that. I wanted the ability, I wanted residual income coming in, and that I knew would free me up from a time perspective and a location perspective. And so I was really, really clear on that. And so I was able to identify the opportunities that would get me there, right? There's a reason that I did not go full blast into scaling local transactions, because it didn't give me time freedom or location freedom. But what did was helping agents all across the country increase their local transactions. I can build any agent a six-figure business, a multi-six-figure business in part-time hours. I got really, really good at that, and I helped every agent build that in their business, right? And that allows me what I want, and it gives them what they want. But if you don't have clarity on what you want, I can pinky promise you, you will end up sacrificing the thing that you're actually building the business for. Don't do that. If you are already at the top of the mountain, stay at the top of the mountain. Thank you so much for joining me for today's episode of The Amy Gregory Show. We will see you next time. Thanks for tuning in to The Amy Gregory Show. If today's episode gave you that I needed this feeling, go ahead and hit subscribe so you never miss a pep talk when you need it most. And hey, if you're ready to scale your business without the burnout, I've got you. Head over to @AmyGregory on Instagram to connect, grab free resources, or join my community of powerhouse women who are redefining real estate success. Until next time, trust your gut, take up space, and remember, you're just one bold move away from your next breakthrough.